check it out. We got a brand new property. It just hit the market. I haven't seen it. I'm not getting on a plane. I'm not gonna go see it. Okay, this one is in Central Florida.
Yes, sir.
217, that is a dang awesome purchase price. I like the down payment. Freaking total annual projected ROI, 45%. Am I gonna get on a plane and go look at this property? Heck no.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Turns out that when you have a pandemic, it becomes really important to know how to buy a property sight unseen. So today I want to share with you a new skill set that is required if you want to be a successful real estate investor. I'm going to share with you 5 ways that I rate a rental property without actually ever visiting it in person. According to recent research by Redfin, a surprising 63% of those who purchased a home in 2020 made an offer sight unseen. That means that our world was forced to change, but guess what? It's now the new normal, and it's how we're going to be doing real estate in the future. The first thing you need to consider when evaluating a rental property sight unseen is the location. You got to ask questions like, is there appreciation potential? As in, if I just buy this thing, is it in a market where it should go up in value? Number 2, is there room for expansion? As in, is this in the city's path of progress? Is this where population is booming? Is this where migration is headed? Is this where businesses are flourishing? Because guess what? I want to buy homes in areas where that is the developmental plan. Now, these are a couple other considerations that are important. You got to watch out for high crime, abandoned buildings. Like, you know, they call it like being on the wrong side of the railroad tracks. I am not into slumlord millionaire kind of real estate. Suburban cul-de-sacs, clean, orderly neighborhoods, places that are close to nice schools and workplaces. That's what I'm looking for. Like literally go out there and say, maybe I want to buy a home that's in a neighborhood that a respectable family or one that I would like to live in. Location is key, number 1. Number 2, property condition. And yes, sight unseen, you can evaluate that property. How do you do that? Hello? It's called the 21st century. It's a virtual tour. They might either upload 50 pictures or 100 pictures, or they would give you a video. And that is enough information for you to gauge the condition of that property. And then of course, if you do get it under contract, you can hire an inspector. They'll go out, they'll visit the property in person. They will literally inspect every little thing. And that's what I do so that I don't have to be there doing that. Now, as you're doing this process, there's a couple of things that you want to avoid, and there's a couple of things you want to look for. First of all, what to avoid? Avoid a property that has major cosmetic improvement requirements, as in, I got to spend at least 10% of the purchase price dumping it into this property and actually making it livable. On the other hand, there's a couple of things that you should be looking for, which would include a newer property, as in no work required. I'm not trying to update like a plumbing system from 50 years ago, or I'm not trying to like update it into like the 21st century because it was an old property. I'm looking for something that is more or less ready to move in. And if it can be sold by a don't wanter at an excellent price, as an investor, that's going to factor into an ROI. Remember at the start of the video, that property with a projected 45% annual ROI, with the compounding effect, that's doubling your money literally every 2 years. That's pretty sweet. And part of that comes from knowing how to get a property at the right price in an appreciating market. Speaking of price, that is number 3. How good is the price compared to the going rate? For example, check this out. If this property is 10% below market price, in an economy like this, you would call that one heck of a steal of a deal. A discount is only one way that factors into your total return on investment, because you can have positive cash flow, you can certainly have tax benefits, you can have appreciation. Getting a discount in this market, that's hot. But by the way, there are people that are actually paying roughly market prices. There's even companies out there, hedge funds like Blackstone, that are spending 10, 20, 25% above going rate because they're so confident in what the value of that property is going to do over the next 5 years. For you and I, if you want to be a successful investor, you're definitely looking at a discount. Duh. Number 4, let's talk about financing. If you're looking at getting this rental, you need to understand the terms of which you're borrowing money. And there's definitely some things to avoid, and also some considerations like who's putting up the money, and you have to understand how much cash flows are going to be. Right now, for example, rates are really, really low. You should be able to dish out a great cash flow. If you can't pull off a great cash flow with these low interest rates, you're probably spending way too much on the wrong property in the wrong part of town, period. Check this out. If you're putting down more than 25%, you're probably doing it wrong.
Can I give you one piece of advice? You're doing it wrong.
Right? Like you're forcing a positive cash flow. In general, banks for an investment property want 20% down. If they ever ask for less than that, run for the hills. It's too much leverage. But banks have been actually rewarding investors by putting 5% more down. Instead of the typical 20, they're saying if you put 25% down, we will drop your investment rate considerably. And on a lot of my properties, I've done that because that extra 5% frees up a considerable amount of positive cash flow. Also, the property, if it's going to be cash flow negative for the first few years, hello, that's a pretty good warning sign that you shouldn't make a bid on it. And finally, number 5, let's talk about a seller's motivation and flexibility, because when it comes to buying a property, you sometimes have a chance to pick something up off market or something that's not listed by a realtor, as in, hey, this is something that is for sale by owner. And here are a couple of things that you definitely want to avoid. Someone that says, well, I'm not going to budge on the price, it's take it or leave it attitude, or I really don't need to sell, so I'm going to fetch the highest dollar. That would not make a great seller financing deal. However, check this out. If you're looking for someone that says, I need cash for, getting some items that are pressing to me, or I'm behind on payments, or you know what, there was a divorce, I just retired, or they're just looking for a solution to a tax problem. If they're ultimately open to being super flexible with price, this is how you work a sweetheart deal, because there could be a way to give them some cash or no cash, find out how to give them what they need. You could get a discount on the property, you could get a very low interest rate, you could get very favorable terms. Like imagine for a moment that they bought this home 30 years ago and that their payment is like $200 a month. Imagine if the going rate might be $1,500 a month, but they'll give it to you for $600 a month. There's gonna be a screaming deal on the cash flow, and that might be a perfect solution to what they're looking for. All of the information that I've shared with you today comes out of the first book that I ever wrote on the game of real estate. It has created millionaires, and it's free to you. It talks about how you evaluate properties, whether you're doing it virtually or in person. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, but you can click the link below and also get a free copy of this book. I want to give it to you. The reason why I make it available is because it tells the 5 steps that I used as a college kid to become financially free by the time I got out of college. And if you're looking for an accelerated plan where you don't want 30 years to retire, you don't want 10 years to retire, you want to figure out how to do it really quick, this book will show you the perfect roadmap of exactly step-by-step how you make it happen. Click the link, get your copy. And for that matter, please, don't pay off your house. I understand this goes against conventional wisdom. I understand that your mom is probably shaking in her boots saying, don't trust that man, because guess what? I have zero intention of ever paying off any real estate. I want to control real estate. And if you want to understand that very bizarre but very successful mentality, check out this video on why you should never pay off a mortgage without actually visiting it in person. And because of the pandemic, turns out this is newly acquired important good skill. Ready? Ready?